October 9, 2025. The world watches as Israel and Hamas sign a historic peace agreement, a moment that many believed would never come. The air is thick with anticipation and cautious optimism, as leaders from around the globe gather to witness this unprecedented event. This agreement brings an end to 2 years of devastating conflict that left cities in ruins and families shattered on both sides. After relentless violence and heartbreaking loss, this U.S.-brokered deal marks the first real step toward de-escalation, a long-awaited prisoner exchange, and the urgent delivery of humanitarian relief to those who need it most. Announced by President Donald Trump, the agreement offers a glimmer of hope to Israeli families anxiously awaiting the return of hostages, and to Palestinians in Gaza, who are desperate for food, medicine, and a sense of normalcy after years of hardship. Months of secretive, high-stakes diplomacy, often unfolding behind closed doors and away from the public eye, have led to this fragile breakthrough. It stands as a testament to the persistence, creativity, and determination of international mediators who refuse to give up. This is not a final peace, but a carefully constructed phased framework. The first priority: silence the guns, release hostages and prisoners, and open the door for desperately needed aid to flow into Gaza, bringing hope to thousands of civilians. The fact that sworn enemies have reached any agreement at all is a diplomatic milestone, one that many thought impossible just months ago. Optimism is cautious. Every detail, from the withdrawal of military forces to the logistics of prisoner exchanges, will be closely monitored by the world. The world hopes this fragile start will build momentum for deeper, lasting solutions, and that the spirit of compromise will endure. For now, the focus is on immediate outcomes: ending violence, reuniting families torn apart by war, and delivering life-saving aid to those who have suffered the most. The region stands at a crossroads, hopeful, yet fully aware of the immense challenges that still lie ahead. The journey toward lasting peace has only just begun. At the heart of the agreement lies a dramatic and deeply emotional exchange, one that has been years in the making and is fraught with both hope and heartbreak for families on both sides of the conflict. 20 Israeli hostages, who have endured over 2 years of captivity in Gaza, will finally return home to their loved ones. For their families, this moment marks the end of a long nightmare, filled with uncertainty and fear, and the beginning of a new chapter of healing and reunion. In addition, Hamas will return the remains of 28 deceased hostages, including 4 foreign nationals. For the grieving families, this gesture offers a measure of closure, allowing them to finally lay their loved ones to rest with dignity and say their final goodbyes after years of painful waiting. In return, Israel will release 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. This includes all women and children, as well as 22 minors who were not involved in the October 7 attacks. For many, this is a long-awaited moment of justice and relief, as families are finally reunited after years of separation. Among those released, 1,700 Gazans who have been detained since the start of the war will be allowed to return home. For Palestinian families, this is a major victory, bringing hope and joy after months of anxiety and loss. Additionally, 250 prisoners serving life sentences will be deported to Gaza or third countries rather than the West Bank. This measure is intended to address Israeli security concerns, while still allowing these individuals a chance at freedom, albeit far from their original homes. Notably, the release of Marwan Barghouti, a prominent Palestinian leader, remains off the table. His continued imprisonment is a key sticking point for both sides, symbolizing the deep divisions and unresolved issues that persist. As part of the agreement, Israel will also return the bodies of 360 Palestinians. For many families, this is a deeply symbolic gesture, allowing them to mourn and honor their loved ones who have been lost to the conflict. This exchange, though painful and complex, represents a calculated compromise. Each side is making significant sacrifices, giving up much in the hope of bringing their people home and taking a step toward easing the suffering that has defined the past 2 years. Ultimately, this is a foundational act of hope, one built on the pain, endurance, and resilience of countless families. It is a moment that, while not erasing the wounds of the past, dares to imagine a future where peace and reconciliation might one day be possible. Central to the deal is an immediate, comprehensive ceasefire. Upon Israeli cabinet approval, all hostilities, airstrikes, ground operations, and rocket fire must stop. Within 24 hours, Israeli forces will redeploy to the Yellow Line, vacating much of Gaza but retaining a buffer zone. Hamas frames this as the first step toward full withdrawal. Israel calls it redeployment, language crafted to bring both sides to the table. A formal declaration to end the war is required before any hostage release. The IDF is preparing for this transition, shifting from combat to humanitarian facilitation. The first 72 hours will be critical. Any violation could unravel the fragile peace. This ceasefire is the essential foundation for all that follows. The agreement prioritizes immediate humanitarian relief for Gaza's devastated population. Border crossings, especially Rafah, will open for a massive influx of food, water, medicine, and fuel. The U.S. pledges leadership and funding for Gaza's reconstruction, coordinating with international partners. Aid delivery will be tightly monitored to ensure it reaches civilians, not Hamas. An interim council of local Palestinian leaders will oversee aid and rebuilding, aiming to empower non-Hamas governance. Reconstruction is contingent on strict oversight, with billions needed to restore basic services. For Gaza's 2 million residents, this is a lifeline and a reason to hope. The success of this effort will be a key test of the agreement's promise. The world reacts swiftly and intensely to the historic peace deal, with news of the agreement dominating headlines and sparking conversations in homes, cafes, and parliaments across the globe. The sense of anticipation is palpable, as people everywhere wonder if this could mark a true turning point for the region. President Trump hails the deal as a major diplomatic triumph, calling it a testament to American leadership on the world stage. He pledges robust U.S. support for Gaza's rebuilding, promising humanitarian aid and economic investment, and announces plans for high-level visits to the region to oversee the next steps. Trump's administration frames the agreement as a model for future peace efforts. In Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu calls the agreement a moral and strategic victory, emphasizing the security guarantees it brings. However, he immediately faces fierce opposition from far-right coalition partners, who accuse him of making dangerous concessions and threaten to collapse his government. Protests erupt in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, reflecting deep divisions within Israeli society. Hamas, meanwhile, claims a significant win with the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners, celebrating the moment as a victory for resistance. Leaders demand international guarantees to ensure Israel's compliance with the terms, and urge the world to keep a close watch on the deal's implementation. Global leaders, from Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey to the UK and Saudi Arabia, welcomed the deal, praising the tireless efforts of mediators who worked behind the scenes. Many express hope that this agreement will serve as a foundation for broader regional stability and cooperation, while also acknowledging the challenges that lie ahead. The Palestinian Authority, led by Mahmoud Abbas, cautiously supports the ceasefire, urging all parties to commit to a genuine political process that addresses the root causes of the conflict. Officials stress the need for international oversight and a clear roadmap toward a lasting two-state solution. The international community sees a glimmer of hope, but warns that this must be more than a temporary pause in violence. United Nations officials and peace advocates call for sustained dialogue, humanitarian access, and concrete steps to build trust between the parties. As dawn breaks over Jerusalem and Gaza, the region holds its breath, waiting to see if this fragile peace can endure and finally open the door to a new era of coexistence and hope. To understand this agreement's weight, we must recall the war's origins. On October 7, 2023, Hamas launched a brutal attack on Israel, killing over 1,200 and taking more than 250 hostages. Israel's response was relentless. 2 years of bombardment and ground invasions devastated Gaza, killing over 67,000, mostly women and children. The humanitarian crisis was unprecedented: displacement, famine, and despair. The fate of the hostages haunted Israel, driving public pressure for a deal. As the number of living hostages dwindled, urgency for compromise grew. The war's toll extended beyond the region, sparking global protests and legal battles. Military solutions failed to end the conflict. Only diplomacy could break the stalemate. Today's agreement is born from this painful deadlock, a recognition that endless war brings only more suffering. This breakthrough is the result of relentless international mediation. The U.S., under President Trump, led the final push, But Qatar and Egypt were indispensable, shuttling messages and proposals between the sides. American diplomats, backed by security guarantees and reconstruction aid, applied crucial pressure. Turkey's influence helped persuade Hamas to accept terms once rejected. Each mediator brought unique leverage. Egypt controlled Rafah, Qatar had financial sway, and the U.S. offered superpower backing. This coalition's unity made it hard for either side to walk away. The process was fraught with setbacks, but persistence paid off. The lesson: entrenched conflicts require collaborative, creative diplomacy. Today's fragile peace is a testament to that effort. The hardest questions remain unresolved. Who will govern Gaza? The interim council is a stopgap, with no clear path to permanent authority. The deal sidesteps Hamas's disarmament, a core Israeli demand, and a non-starter for Hamas. The broader Israeli-Palestinian conflict, West Bank and Jerusalem, are untouched. Critics warn that without a political horizon, peace in Gaza will be fragile. Internal divisions threaten both sides. Netanyahu's coalition is shaky, and Palestinian leadership remains split. Without unified representation, moving from ceasefire to lasting peace will be difficult. This agreement is only the first step on a long, uncertain road. This peace agreement is a fragile but vital moment of hope. Families are reunited, and Gaza's skies are quiet for the first time in years. But this is not the end, just the beginning of a new, uncertain chapter. Deep mistrust and unresolved grievances remain. The deal's ambiguous language could spark future disputes. Success depends on discipline, leadership, and sustained international engagement. The focus must shift from managing conflict to resolving it. The future hinges on answering the hard questions this deal postpones. For the first time in years, there's a real chance for peace. The challenge now? To seize this moment and build a lasting future.